Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Thursday, November the 3rd. Now we just have a 2-game slate for Thursday, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video. Won't be too much to talk about, but we're still going to go game by game and talk through each one of these 2 games, kind of give my thoughts on this slate, what stands out to me, taking a first look on Wednesday night. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, if you guys enjoy these DFS videos, please hit that like button down below. Always do appreciate all the likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, check out the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. PrizePicks, they are a player prop based DFS site. I'm sure most of you guys have heard about PrizePicks, but if you have not, you can sign up with promo code Noah. When you do sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And again, PrizePicks is focused on player props, so you're just taking more or less on a player's projection. You know, they do have some projections posted for Thursday night. Obviously, it's only 2 games, so the board's going to be pretty small for today. But if you see any props that you like, again, you're just taking more or less on a projection. You can take a look at the props they have available. We do have a Thursday night football game tonight, so if you want to take a look at the NFL board, see some stuff that they have for NFL. Obviously, the World Series is going on right now. PrizePicks has props up for MLB. You can mix and match sports on PrizePicks. You can make a 3-pick entry with 1 NBA pick, 1 NFL pick, and 1 MLB pick, and have something to sweat in every game tonight. It's something you can do on PrizePicks. So you guys definitely need to be playing over there. Make sure you sign up with promo code Noah. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100. I don't know yet if I'm going to have a video for PrizePicks today. I usually do share a couple plays I like each day, but because it's just a 2-game slate, don't know if I'll have much to like. If I do decide to play anything for NBA today, I'll probably post that on Patreon. So if you guys do want to get all my PrizePicks plays, I share those over on Patreon outside of the picks I give out on YouTube. I did already upload 2 picks that I'm playing for the NFL game tonight. So if you guys want to check that out, I did post a 2-pick entry that I'm playing for the NFL game. That video is already up on the channel. Check that out if you are interested. But let's go ahead and talk through the 2 games slate for tonight. Got the first game of the night, the Warriors and the Magic. I will say that both of these games kind of have some blowout risk. Right now, Golden State's favored by 8 against Orlando, and the Nuggets are favored by 6 against OKC. So, it's not the best 2-game slate, I'll be honest, but starting off with this game, Golden State and Orlando, you got Steph Curry at 9,900. Obviously, on a 2-game slate, Steph Curry is in play today. I will say that for today's slate, I think Curry definitely is a step behind Jokic. I think it's pretty close between him and SGA. I think I might lean Curry over SGA. We know the massive upside that Steph Curry has. I mean, we saw him put up 64 DK points. He had a triple-double against Miami. Steph, he always has kind of a lower floor. There's definitely games where he puts up like 40, 45. But that 55, 60-point upside is always on the table. At 9,900, is Steph Curry going to be someone I try and jam in today? Probably not. If I'm only playing one lineup, I think I am going to prioritize Jokic on this slate. But obviously, if you're playing multiple lineups, you're going to want to get some exposure to Steph. We know the massive upside that he has. He is obviously in play on a 2-game slate. But some of these mid-range options, you got Paolo Banchero at 8,200, Wendell Carter Jr. at 7,400. Banchero, he's been really, really good for the Magic this year. He's had a really big role, really big usage rate. He's been playing big minutes as well. His production has kind of tailed off a little bit the last 2 games, just 27 and 28 DK points. And with this price tag being 8,200, I think that will kind of keep his ownership, somewhat in check. Obviously, on a 2-game slate, he's going to get owned, but I don't think he's going to be like massive chalk today. But Banchero's viable. It's a tougher matchup, especially if he's going to be guarded by Draymond. I don't love this spot for Banchero, but he's got upside. The price tag does feel about right, though. He's not going to be a priority play for me. And then Wendell Carter Jr., I think this is a pretty good matchup for him. We've actually seen centers do really well against the Warriors this year. The Warriors have been giving up a lot of fantasy points to the center position. And Wendell Carter Jr. is coming off a really big game against the Thunder where he went for 30 and 12, 55 DK points. I think at 7,400, the price tag did come up a lot, so it's tough to say he's like a great play at this salary, but the matchup is really good. I would not be surprised to see Wendell Carter have another good game here. But again, the price tag does make him a tough guy to really prioritize on this slate. Then you have Andrew Wiggins at 6,800. Andrew Wiggins has shown a pretty high floor this season. I mean, he's put up, 33 DK points in almost every game this season. He's really only had 2 bad games, and that was against Charlotte and against Detroit. Every other game, he's been giving you like 35, 40 fantasy points. Now, is Wiggins a guy that can go out there and win you the slate and put up like 50? I don't know if Wiggins has that kind of upside, but he feels like a very safe, high floor play. I think he's someone you probably could consider in cash games if you're playing cash games on a 2-game slate. I don't have an issue with Wiggins. I do kind of question his upside, but the price tag at 6,800 is not too high. He's definitely in play today if you do want to go there. And then Franz Wagner, he's someone that I've played a lot lately. He's had some big games. He's also had some disappointing games. I think his role should continue to be pretty good while Cole Anthony's out. We did see Jalen Suggs return last game, but Jalen Suggs did come off the bench. I think Wagner's going to continue to handle the ball a lot. He's going to continue to play big minutes. He's 6,700, which I think is priced about right, but clearly he's got upside. We saw him put up 37 DK points last game. He's going to probably need to put up over 40 to really justify the salary, and he's yet to put up over 40 DK points this season. But on a 2-game slate, he is someone you can look to in the mid-range. I don't think he's a priority play today, but he is definitely viable. And then Jordan Poole, we know Jordan Poole's going to come off the bench. He's going to play pretty good minutes regardless. He's 6,400, though. He's definitely not someone that I'm in love with today. He did have that really big game against Detroit, but he also did start that game because Klay Thompson was out. Maybe if you want to play into like a blowout scenario, like if Golden State does blow out Orlando, you could definitely see Jordan Poole play some in a blowout. Obviously, like in the fourth quarter, he might still be out there. On 2-game slates, you can always kind of build lineups that way, like assuming blowouts. And if you want to go that route, I don't hate to Jordan Poole, but I think guys like Wagner, Andrew Wiggins, they're going to look like better plays. Even Bol Bol. Bol Bol has been playing really, really well for the Magic this year. It seems like he's earned a pretty big role. He started, I believe, their last 3 games. I think he started their last 3 games, 27, 30, and 31 minutes in the starting lineup. Production's been really good, especially the last 2 games. 36 DK points. He's had a double-double in back-to-back games. Bol Bol's a good shot blocker. He's a good rebounder. He can get you a double-double. He should play pretty good minutes here. I would think low 30s minutes if this game's close. I don't think Bol Bol would play in a blowout, but he might. But I think low 30s minutes is pretty likely for Bol Bol here. He's going to average probably a fantasy point per minute. He's been a fantasy point per minute player this season. The price tag is up to 6,200, but I think that will definitely keep his ownership somewhat in check. He's kind of been I know he was pretty chalky the first day he started because he was pretty cheap. Last 2 slates he hasn't been as owned, so obviously on a 2-game slate he's going to get some ownership, but I don't expect him to be like massive chalk today. So I definitely like Bol Bol at 6,200. Even with the price tag coming up, I think he's still in play just because the minutes I think are going to continue to be there. They seem very trustworthy in Bol Bol. They've been giving him really good run. Then you got Draymond Green at 6K. I do kind of question Draymond's upside. We haven't seen much of a ceiling from him this season. He kind of he tops out at like 35, 36, 38 DK points. You can always get that random triple-double from Draymond. We know he's a guy that can contribute in all categories. He can also get defensive stats. I don't think he's someone I'm going to prioritize today, but obviously on a 2-game slate, he is playable, but I would rather get up to like Bol Bol or Franz Wagner or Wiggins. Those guys I definitely feel better about, and I think those guys do carry more upside than Draymond. The 6K price tag doesn't make Draymond a great option here. His minutes are going to be probably 28 to 30. It seems like he does play more minutes kind of in those big-time games. Like against Miami, he played 32 minutes. The Charlotte game did go to overtime. I could definitely see this being a game where Draymond only plays like 28 minutes, probably because they won't need him out there. Against Orlando, this is definitely a game the Warriors should easily win. So yeah, I'm not super in love with Draymond today at 6K. Jalen Suggs, again, he came off the bench last game. He did play 28 minutes, but he wasn't super productive. At 5,700, I'm not really interested in Suggs today, especially if he comes off the bench again. So not a guy that I have too much interest in. Klay Thompson, they said they're going to keep him kind of on a little bit of a minutes limit, 30 to 32 minutes. Last 2 games, he's played 32 and 31. At 5,500, I think Klay is viable here. He is someone that I really haven't played at all this season. But I think on a 2-game slate, we can definitely consider Klay Thompson at 5,500. Even if Klay has 30 Draftkings points, that might be good enough. He could definitely be in the winning lineup, even if he scores 30 DK points. Normally, on a 10-game slate, 30 DK points at 5,500 is not going to get the job done. On a 2-game slate, that could get the job done. So I do think that Klay Thompson at 5,500 is playable here. His minutes are not going to be super high. They're going to keep him in the 30 to 32 range. But we know Klay Thompson's a guy that can get hot. He can put up those big games. All it takes is for a couple shots to start falling, and then you're looking at a big game from Klay. Then you got some of these bench guys like R.J. Hampton at 4,900. I think his value definitely will. It'll all change depending on if Terrence Ross plays. This is one of the question marks we need to keep an eye on. Terrence Ross is currently questionable. While this normally wouldn't seem like a big injury, obviously on a 2-game slate, every injury is impactful. So with Terrence Ross questionable, if he does wind up sitting out, I think that you will see more minutes for a guy like R.J. Hampton, who did play 21 minutes last game. Now with Jalen Suggs back, I don't think Hampton's going to play a ton, but I think if Terrence Ross were to play, you probably would get 20 to 24 minutes from Hampton. he'd be okay. At 4,900, I'm not that in love with him, but he would at least be playable if Terrence Ross sits. If Terrence Ross plays, then I don't really have any interest in Hampton. And like the rest of these guys, like the rest of these value guys, man, it's pretty thin. Kevon Looney obviously has been starting, but he's only been playing like 22 to 24 minutes. He just doesn't really offer much upside. It's a 2-game slate with really no value, so if you want to go to Kevon Looney, I think he is viable. But there's really not much value that I'm in love with in this game. If you want to play for the blowout, then you can maybe go to someone like James Wiseman. We know James Wiseman's a really good point-per-minute player. It's just a matter of how many minutes he's actually going to play. Obviously, in a blowout scenario, I think he would see his minutes, kind of boosted a little bit. It only takes 20 minutes from Wiseman to put up a good score at 3,500. Shit, even 15 minutes from Wiseman, he could put up 20 DraftKings points in 15 minutes. So I don't hate him in GPPs. I think if I'm going to take a shot on a Warriors bench guy, like James Wiseman's probably my favorite. If you're going to take a shot on someone off the bench from Golden State, you can maybe look to like Chuma Okeke. He's had a pretty decent role off the bench. He only got 13 minutes last game, but the previous 2 games he saw 29 and 25 minutes. I don't know if his minutes are going to be as good now that Jalen Suggs is back. And if Terrence Ross were to play, obviously there'd be some risk there, but he's only 3,700. He would play in a blowout too. But again, like these are just dart throws at best. I mean, no one on Golden State on their bench you're going to feel great about. They do spread out the minutes a lot. But if you're taking shot, if you're playing in the large field GPP, the $15 with 26,000 entries, you're going to have to look to some of these guys. I wouldn't be surprised to see a James Wiseman or a Chuma Okeke make the winning lineup tonight, just because that's what happens on 2-game slates. But yeah, that's it for this game. Let's go ahead and talk about the other game of the night, the Nuggets and the Thunder. So looking at the top here with Nikola Jokic, I mean, clearly on this slate, Nikola Jokic is by far the best pay-up option. In terms of floor and ceiling, Jokic, I mean, a bad game from Jokic is like 45, 50 DK points. If this game stays close, Jokic should play 34, 35 minutes. OKC is going to have no answer for him. I know, against OKC earlier this season, he put up a triple-double, 66 DraftKings points. Like, this is just such a good spot for Jokic. I know the Thunder, they're another team that just gives up a ton of fantasy points to centers. Jokic should dominate here. There's really nothing negative to say about him. The only thing negative you can say is that he's going to be very, very popular, I would assume. But it's very likely that Jokic, is going to be in the winning lineup tonight. Even if he puts up like 55, that could still be enough to put him in the winning lineup, just because we could see, maybe SGA only puts up like 45. Maybe Steph only puts up like 45 or 50, and that might not be enough. Jokic, his floor and ceiling combo make him clearly the best pay-up option on this slate, in my opinion. Then you do have SGA at 9,700. So obviously, last game we saw Josh Giddey return. SGA still put up a big game though, 55 DraftKings points, 34 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, he has just been incredible this season. He's averaging 54 DraftKings points per game. He's also shown a very, very high floor. I definitely think his upside is not as high with Giddey back, just because Giddey can handle the ball. Giddey can take some usage away. But I know SGA's been driving to the basket a lot. He's been really aggressive offensively. I think he's the second best pay-up option on the slate over Steph. Like, it's really close between Steph and SGA. I think obviously both are in play. Jokic is my favorite guy to pay up for. I don't know if you're going to be able to build, I don't think you're going to be able to play multiple studs on the slate just because there's not enough value. You can maybe try and build like Jokic and SGA together, but then you're going to have to play some guys you don't really feel good about. But yeah, clearly SGA is in play. I just think his upside, I think his ceiling might be a little bit capped, with Josh Giddey back. Then Josh Giddey himself at 7K, he was kind of limited last game, 25 minutes, 26 DK points. He did start, but he actually came off the bench in the second half, so we don't really know what we're going to get from Giddey here. Is he going to play 36 minutes? I highly doubt it. So if they are going to kind of limit him again at 7K, I mean, I don't think Giddey's really going to be in play today unless we hear that he's not limited. I'm guessing he'll play like 30 minutes, but he probably won't get like 35, 36, which is kind of what you need at his 7K price tag. Then you have Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, some of these other Denver guys. I really don't ever consider these guys. I don't think I've played anyone on Denver this season outside of Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. has had some good games. He's got some upside. He's a good scorer. He's probably only going to play like 28 to 30 minutes here, but at 6,500, he's someone you can go to on a 2-game slate. I think the price tag is about right, but MPJ is viable. Aaron Gordon, he's been solid this season. He's shown a pretty decent floor. He's got a decent ceiling. He put up 31 DK points against OKC earlier this year. 5,900 as a mid-range option. I don't hate Aaron Gordon. I think I'd rather play Aaron Gordon over a guy like Draymond if I had to choose, kind of between those two guys. Aaron Gordon's okay, but again, I just never get excited about these Denver guys. I just feel like Jokic always dominates the usage, and it's just like predicting when Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. is going to go off is just so hard. You just never really know. And then Jamal Murray, he's kind of been on a minutes limit this season, but his minutes have kind of started to trend up. He did get up to 32 minutes last game against the Lakers. Are they going to play him 35 minutes here against a bad Thunder team? Like, I highly doubt it. I don't know if this is a spot where they really need big minutes from Jamal Murray. But 5,600 is that's pretty cheap for Jamal Murray, especially if he is going to play over 30 minutes. I don't think it's a guarantee he plays over 30 minutes, but it is good to see his minutes start to trend up. Last time they played OKC, he played 28 minutes, had 30 DK points. He probably is my second favorite play from Denver behind Jokic when you factor in salary. I think that $5,600 price tag does make him a pretty appealing option on this slate. And then you got Lou Dort at 5,800. Lou Dort's been really up and down this season. He's another guy that just doesn't really offer much upside, kind of similar to Draymond Green. He's probably going to get good minutes here, but I think I'd rather go to Jamal Murray. Probably rather play Aaron Gordon as well. Not super interested in Lou Dort. Bruce Brown at 5,200 feels priced about right, but we do want to mention that Bones Hyland is currently questionable. So really the only two guys that are questionable on the slate right now are Bones Hyland and Terrence Ross. I think that's it. Those are the only questionable guys. And Ish Smith is questionable, but I don't think that really matters. He's barely been playing this season. So Bones Hyland is questionable. I think if Bones does sit, that probably would mean more minutes for a guy like Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's been coming off the bench, been playing pretty good minutes all season. I think he will. I think he will see probably 25, 30 minutes here off the bench, especially if Bones doesn't play. Now, if Bones plays, maybe you get like 24, 25 minutes from Bruce Brown. I would probably want Bones to be out to roster Bruce Brown at this salary. If Bones plays, then I'm not really that interested in Bruce Brown. So that'll be something to kind of keep an eye on. And then Trey Mann at 5,100. I think his upside is just not as high now, especially with Josh Giddey back. He came off the bench last game. He's probably going to come off the bench again. I don't think his minutes are going to be as good off the bench. The $5,100 salary doesn't make him really stand out to me. Not super interested in Trey Mann. KCP, this is a guy that I really never, ever play, but on a 2-game slate, KCP is viable. He's going to play probably low 30s minutes. He's not a guy that offers much upside, but he can hit some threes. He can grab some rebounds. He can get some defensive stats. He did have a really good game against OKC when they played earlier this season. At 5K, I think KCP's an okay value today. I hate fucking playing KCP, but I think he is in play today. Now, we did see Jalen Williams start last game for OKC. He was a pretty popular value play last slate. He was really cheap. I played him once it was announced he was starting. He didn't really have a good game. He played 22 minutes and had just 10 Draftkings points. But he was really good in the preseason, I think he was pretty productive on a point-per-minute basis. He's only 4,700. His price tag did come up, but he's still somewhat cheap. If Jalen Williams does start again, I think he will be in play for value. Obviously, it's not great to see him struggle as much as he did last game, but I think he's still in play here. I think he might even play in a blowout too if this game does get ugly. I think he might still be out there since he is kind of one of their younger guys that they do want to develop. So I'm kind of interested in Jalen Williams for value, especially if he does start again. We did see Poku move back to the bench last game, but that didn't really matter because he still put up a great game, which was super annoying because I was going to play Poku last slate, and then when he went to the bench, I took him out of my lineup, and of course he went off. Played 31 minutes, had 38 Draftkings points. Poku's a guy that does have upside, and he is a pretty decent point-per-minute player. They might start him today since he did so well last game. OKC's been changing up their starting lineup, it feels like every game. So keep an eye on that. At 4,600, even if he does come off the bench, I think Poku he's an okay value. I definitely would not expect 38 Draftkings points from him, but on a 2-game slate with pretty minimal value, I think we can look to Poku here. He would play in a blowout too, so I think his minutes are kind of safe, regardless of how this game goes. Bones, again, if he plays at 4,400, I'm not super interested in him, but we know Bones does offer some upside. Even if he only plays 20 minutes, he can go out there and put up a really good game in 20 minutes. But at 4,400, not really a standout value play today. There's really no standout values. You're just kind of throwing darts with all these guys. Aaron Wiggins is 4,300. He also moved back to the bench last game, saw his minutes really get cut, so tough to feel great about Aaron Wiggins now that he's coming off the bench and, given his minutes went way down last game. And the rest of these guys, JRE, he came off the bench, I do believe, or maybe they might have moved him back into the starting lineup. Honestly, I can't remember who they started last game. I should probably pull that up real quick. I know they started Giddey, SGA, Dort. They started Giddey, SGA, Dort, Williams, and I can't remember who the 5th starter was. I'm going to pull it up real quick. It might have been SGA, or it might have been JRE, excuse me. Let's see. They played on the 1st against Orlando. Let's go to that game. So it was SGA, Dort, JRE, Gideon Williams. So it was JRE. He got 22 minutes. He was pretty productive in those 22 minutes. We've seen JRE start multiple games this season and pretty much do nothing. Plus, the matchup against Jokic is really scary. There's definitely some foul trouble risk here. Last time they played Denver, JRE played 18 minutes and had just 14 DraftKings points. But they're going to have to put a big out there just because, like, in this matchup, you kind of have to go big. You can't really go small. If they do go small, they're just going to get abused by Jokic. I want to take a look at their rotation. Last time they played Denver, so let's see how the minutes went. So, yeah, JRE started. He played 18 minutes. Muscala played 18 minutes. Baisley got 21 minutes. So they'll probably just kind of throw multiple guys out there. And I expect, some of these guys will probably pick up a lot of fouls. But if JRE does start at center, I mean, it's really gross, but I think at 4K, he's like an okay value play. We've seen Darius Baisley have some big games this season. His minutes have been all over the place, but like he's another guy that they could just kind of throw out there. Like if JRE's struggling to do anything to stop Jokic, they could just put Baisley out there and hope for the best. I mean, Baisley did get 21 minutes last time they played Denver. I think he's kind of a GPP value play that does offer upside. His ceiling is not he does have a low floor just because his minutes have been so all over the place this season. But if you do get like a 26-minute game from Baisley, he can go out there and put up 25, 30 DraftKings points. So like if you're talking about value plays below 4K, there's really nothing below 4K that looks great. But I think Baisley might be one of the best values below 4K if you're going to take a shot on someone that cheap. Like the rest of these guys, I don't really feel great about. Kendrick, none of these guys really stand out. Muscala might get some minutes here just to try and eat some fouls against Jokic. He did have a really good game against Denver for what it's worth. 29 DK points in 19 minutes, but he also, shot 4 for 7 from 3. But he could get thrown out there for 10 to 12 minutes just to, hope that he can do something against Jokic. I don't really see much, though, else that I'm liking from OKC and just from this game in general. So that pretty much does it, guys. I think that covers this 2-game slate for Thursday. Again, guys, short slate tonight. Wasn't too much to talk about. We'll be back on Friday. Much, much bigger slate on Friday. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. Hit that like button down below if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Check out the sponsor again, PrizePicks, sponsor of this video. Sign up for PrizePicks. Use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. Again, I don't think I'm going to have an NBA video posted for today for PrizePicks. It's a 2-game slate, and there's really not going to be a ton of props to love. I also don't really like either one of these games. But I did post a 2-pick entry that I'm playing for the NFL game. So if you want to check out that video, see some NFL picks I like for Thursday Night Football, that video is already posted on the channel. But we'll definitely be back for Friday with a big slate, talking DFS, and we'll have a PrizePicks video posted for Friday's slate. But again, guys, best of luck tonight. Hope you all win some money. Wish you the best of luck. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.